Okay, call the meeting to order at 6:32. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda?
Draft agenda presented to the committee and dated January 17th, 2024, be hereby adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for accepting the minutes of the previous meeting, please?
The minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting of October 18th, 2023, be adopted as circulated.
Favor? Business arising for the minutes. Any business arising from that? Previous minutes? Seeing none. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none, chair's comments. Good evening and welcome to this evening's Committee of Adjustment meeting. It's our first meeting since the new year, so happy new year to everyone, the audience included. The Council of the Municipality of East Ferris has empowered this committee to make decisions on minor variance and consent to sever applications on their behalf. The committee is made up of 5 citizen members and 2 members of council. The members are as follows. Lauren, would you start?
Sure. I'm Lauren Roy Akers and I'm on council.
Carrie Hanselman and staff.
I'm Terry Kelly. Welcome. As regarded under the Planning Act and pursuant to policy, the committee is holding a public meeting prior to making a decision on the proposed applications. The Committee of Adjustment has not yet made any decisions on these matters, and all comments received prior to this evening's meeting, as well as comments received tonight during the meeting, will be considered in the decision. The committee makes our decision based on the criteria outlined in the Planning Act that corresponds to the specific application type. The process will be as follows. I will ask the applicant to present their application in the order listed on the agenda. The committee will ask any questions they have of the applicant. Staff will then provide their comments about the application and give an overview of correspondence that's been received. Members of the public will present and answer questions if needed. We allow for a 10-minute maximum time limit on all public comments to the committee. We will then move to a motion to approve or refuse the application. We ask that everyone be respectful in their presentations and comments should be related directly to the application. We will now move on. We will now move on to the first item on the agenda. And saying that, it's A 2023-11, Richard Bilodeau, 25 Highway 94. The applicant is seeking a minor variance to permit the construction of an addition to the existing home, which would result in a side yard setback of 3.02 meters. The applicant is requesting permission to reduce the side yard setback to 3.02 meters, whereas zoning bylaw 2021-60 requires a side yard setback of 8 meters. Is someone here representing Richard Bilodeau? Would you come forward, please? Is there any, please have a seat. Is there anything you'd like to add to the?
No, we just want to build an addition to have more living space and storage space.
Okay, and it's what, to 16 by 40, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and yeah, committee, we have any questions for the applicant? Right? No?
No, I didn't.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, I just have one. I looked at the drawing. There's a well on the front of your property that you use, I believe, and there's a well adjacent to where the gas station is.
It's their well.
But I understand that, but I'm just wondering, is there any impact on the well from where you're going to build? Okay, no, I'm just asking. Thank you. Would you have a comment, please?
Sure. So we received 2 pieces of correspondence for this file. One was from the MTO indicating they had no objection to the application, given the addition was at the back of the home and not impacting Highway 94 at all. We also received comments from the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority. They have no objection in principle, but they did indicate that a file review will be required prior to building permit. So I did pass this information on to Richard. What a file review is when you have if you have an existing dwelling with a set amount of floor area, if it increases beyond a certain threshold, they need to do a review to make sure that the septic system is large enough to handle the increased floor area. So they'll review that based on their records prior to a building permit being issued by our department. And if there's any issues with the system needing to be upgraded, then they'll work through that with the applicant. But they have no objection in principle to the request for the side yard setback reduction.
Okay,
With regards to my report, the reduction is from an 8 meter required side yard to roughly 3 meters. So we are looking at a numerically somewhat large decrease. But again, as with a lot of applications, we need to consider impact, and that's usually the primary driving factor between, like, when it comes to planning act legislation. So normally the intent of side yard setback provisions are to, provide for consistent spacing between dwellings, make sure that there's no impact to adjacent neighbors. So we're not really in a traditional residential lot context here because there's a gas station adjacent to the property. So the setback reduction they're asking for is on the side adjacent to the gas station. So I think it's, fairly reasonable to say that there's no impact to the adjacent neighbor with a setback reduction on the northerly side yard. So for that reason, primarily, I didn't have any objection to it in my report.
Steve,
There's no rules about the gas station with the tanks and how far away dwellings have to be or things like that.
There are, but they're from property lines generally, so it would be the same either way. Yeah,
And there's no objection from the gas station of.
we didn't receive any comments.
There was no objection from any neighbors, so.
No.
any other questions or concerns? Anybody have any concerns? I have a move and a second then to accept the application. Frank?
Minor variance application A 2023-11 submitted by Richard Loto requesting a minor variance to allow for a reduced side yard setback of 3.02 meters. Whereas zoning bylaw number 2021-60 requires 8 meters. We
All in favor? Very good. You can be in touch with Mr. Curtin and he'll give you any specifics anytime. You can just give him a call during business hours. Or if Richard wants to drop in, say hello.
Yeah.
All right,
Well-
all right.
Sorry, can I just-
It's Jade Taylor,
Just spell your last name.
Koehleder. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Good night. And the second on the agenda is B 2023-26, Robert and Patty Graham, 1276 Centennial Crescent. Purpose of the requested consent is to allow for the creation of one new lot for residential purposes, approximately 2.43 hectares and 90 meters in frontage. And would you come forward, please?
Good evening, I'm Patty Graham. I'm representing both my husband and I tonight.
Welcome.
He's away in Italy.
Is he?
I
Holidays, Patty. And you're here.
know.
That's not, that's not
You know what the thing is that
Okay, oh, he is working as we speak. Is that what you're saying?
No, he's sleeping now.
Well, let's not call him, we'll wake him up. That'd be no good.
He assured me that I will do just fine representing us.
Okay, is there anything you want to add to the application?
No, not really. I just want to say that the purpose of severance is to have our son build his residence. So it's we're not selling outside of the, but we've had people come to us and say, ooh, yeah, and we're saying. So it won't necessarily be any too soon, but we wanted to get the severance complete.
And how much property will you retain, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it's 6 acres. Oh, that we're retaining?
Retaining, yes.
Okay, for us, let's see, it'll be, we have 63, I believe, and then give him 6, it'll be,
Okay,
yeah,
very good.
yeah,
Be nice to have your son living next door.
well, yes.
Yeah, that's for
Yes,
sure.
He's actually settled into the community quite nicely. He doesn't have any plans to go anywhere but build here.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was.
Does anybody on the committee have any questions for Patty?
Looks pretty straightforward.
Bill?
No.
Pretty straightforward?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Warren?
No, it seemed pretty straightforward.
Mr. Frank? For all in favor, do we have any comments, please?
Yeah, so we received one piece of correspondence, which was from the MTO. And in this case, they were just indicating that the property fell outside of their permit area. And other than that, with regards to my report, yeah, I mean, some of you have said it's a pretty straightforward application. It doesn't have any potential environmental kind of limitations anywhere on the proposed lot. The retained land is more than large enough to accommodate our minimums. So I don't really have too much to add beyond that.
Very good. Everyone's in favor. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Bill and Steve. Sorry, go ahead.
That consent application B 2023-26 submitted by Robert and Patty Graham requesting permission to create one new lot be approved conditional upon the completion of the standard conditions listed on the notice of decision.
If you have, all in favor, please. If you have any question, you can direct them to Mr. Curtin during business hours anytime. Okay, thank you very much for coming, and it's approved.
Okay, so that little yellow sign that's posted out there, how long?
That can come down.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that's pretty,
As soon as the meeting's over, it can come down.
yeah,
Yeah, so.
lots of people. want
We, just for the record, in 22, we had 50 new homes. Last year, there were 28 new homes in East Ferris. We seem to be a very popular destination for a lot of people.
Son works for Big Army Carpentries.
He would know more about the development than I would, actually.
That's great. It's a good name, so.
Oh, it's a nice place to live. Thank you very much for coming out. So that is the film of the agenda. Do we have any correspondence or information at this time?
I guess the only correspondence that I would highlight is just the letter that we received from Tara. So as you all know, Tara has resigned from the committee due to taking a job with JL Richards. So just again, I'd like to wish her the best of luck in her new career, and it was great to have her on the committee.
On that basis, is everybody in favor of sending Tara a letter saying thank you for the time spent and her commitment? Because, you know, she was, like all of us, she was here as a volunteer, and I think that she had great input. She was in mining as her field, so, you know, she'll be missed.
Yeah, we may see her on the other side of the table at some point. You never know.
Well, actually, you invited her, you said you're.
She could be representing people in her
Yes,
area.
exactly. No, we wish her well in her new future endeavors, if you would, please,
Yes, we.
on behalf of the committee. Is that everyone agree with that? Okay. Gary, you're good with it?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
The only other thing that I added to the agenda is was changed to the May meeting date.
Right.
Okay,
I'm not available the regular third Wednesday. But we can talk base closer, just
sure. Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, you know,
ideally the week after.
it'd be fine with me, but we'll just take a little poll of the committee. Let's wait Jill, April.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay with everybody?
So what's the process, Greg,
Which process?
to replace Tara?
So we put out a notice that we're looking for applications for a new member. So we'll accept application or like interest, I guess. I forget if it's an actual application or it's just a email